Hey guys, what's going on? It's your boy Mejia, and I'm back with a quick thought. I think I found out biblically how to change the world, and I think you would find it pretty interesting. In Acts chapter 9, I find an interesting character that changed the world. If you are familiar with Acts chapter 9, that speaks of Saul's conversion, right? Saul, who would later be known as Paul, right? And as we know, Paul was one of the great apostles who gave us 13 letters of the New Testament. Super influential, amazing, intelligent, just a great overall hero of the faith, right? But in this story, though, Saul, who would later be Paul, was not the guy we know, right? And though he would later change the world, in this particular story, Ananias was the guy who changed the world, and I'll tell you how. If you read, when it describes the situation that Jesus appears to Saul, blinds him, tells him to go to Ananias. Then the story fast forwards to Ananias hearing from the Lord, hey, I need you to go to this place and lay hands on Saul. And Ananias is like, hold up, this is Saul who's been persecuting the church. This is dangerous, right? Basically. And the Lord says, no, go, because he's going to be an instrument, to be a light to the Gentiles and to the kings and to the leaders of Israel. And so very tense situation here for Ananias. But I guess what stood out to me is the way that Luke, the writer of Acts, describes Ananias. Ananias wasn't an apostle. Ananias was not a pastor or elder or teacher or a prophet. Ananias was not gifted. I mean, there was nothing in here that implied that he had great giftings. But this is how it describes him in verse 10. Now there was a disciple at Damascus named Ananias. I love that the title they assigned to Ananias is disciple. And that right there, I think, is the key to the initial question I posed up front. How do you change the world? By being a good disciple of Jesus Christ. That's all Ananias did in this particular text. All he simply did was obey the call, obey the commands of the Lord. And in doing so, he ended up bringing the gospel to one man who would later change the world furthermore and influence, lives for many generations. Think about that for a minute. I don't think Ananias knew the scope of the impact. He did know, however, that God is worthy of our obedience, and even if it cost him his life, God can be trusted. See, the ones who change the world aren't the most gifted leaders and the greatest this or that. Sometimes, many times, and in this case, what I'm seeing here in the text is that the world changers were simply good disciples who were obedient and faithful and trusted the Lord. And if the Lord called them to one person, then that's who they went to. I love that. I love that Ananias wasn't sent to Damascus to go preach the gospel in Damascus and 3,000 people got saved and one of them just so happened to be Saul. No, literally, he's just a disciple in Damascus who God commissions to go and lay hands and pray for this man, and his eyes are open and the gospel transforms his life, and the effects of that throughout the generations were still being felt now, simply because one guy decided to obey the Lord. And so I want to challenge you today. I know you may have big dreams. I know you got big plans and there's a big call in your life, and I know all that stuff, and that's great. Praise the Lord for all that. But all the Lord is really looking for is good disciples. Be obedient. Be faithful. Go to the one, and share what God has given to you. If you enjoyed this video, go ahead and hit the like button. If you saw any other observations in the text, go ahead and leave it in the comment section. If you're on YouTube, please subscribe. I do appreciate every subscribe and every like. It's your boy Mejia, and I cannot wait to post the next video. Peace.